Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Candidly with Coffee.
What up?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Oh, I'm just so happy it's Friday.
It went by quick again.
I know.
It's like I felt like just the other day was Monday and now we're Friday tomorrow.
I know. And it's, you know what? I have to say, I know you guys probably are tired of us because we always talk about weather, but the weather's been crazy in California this year.
To say the least.
They have been talking about how Californians there's a rise in depression because of seasonal depression. We're not biologically, like our clocks are not used to not having sunshine all of May and June.
Oh, no. This is weird.
And it's so crazy because today was a sunny day. It was like the first day there was not gloom. And I felt a difference. Oh my, huge difference in my mood.
Like a different bounce to my step today on the walk.
My productivity, my just like desire to do things, like everything.
The sun is magical.
It's magical.
It is. The sun is the sunshine is magical.
Oh my God.
It gives you a different beat. I'm the same way. I hate those days, gloomy days. It messes with me. Because I grew up in San Francisco.
Yeah, but usually it's fine because we have a gloomy day we're messed with, but then we have sunshine.
Yeah.
Even in the winter. Like we never have day after day where we don't have blue skies.
That's true. You're right. Even in the winter, we get blue skies.
So this has been,
Right.
It's been rough because it's an adjustment. It is like we're used to it. Like we're used to the of the weather here.
Yes.
And there's been a shift. So anyways, that's been, I'm happy that it's sunny today. But hopefully when you guys are listening to this podcast, it's sunny where you are.
I know,
Find
right?
the sun, chase the sun, because it does help.
Big time.
Yeah.
I spent some time in Oregon. They got some of the most depressing weather on planet Earth.
Yeah, in Washington.
And suicide rates very high over there.
Yeah.
Very high. I think the highest. It's Washington or Oregon. It's one of those two.
A client of mine was actually saying she's from Alaska. She's in Alaska, but she's from California, or she has lived in California.
Okay.
To go from California to Alaska, whereas some seasons it's 24 hours of daylight and some it's 24 hours of night. Can you imagine?
No.
How do you?
No.
You really have
like
to,
coming out of your house. Okay, it's morning time. It's dark. It's nighttime. It's dark. You know what I'm saying? No sun, no light. Can you imagine the depression?
I think that for the people that are used to it,
how do they survive?
You just acclimate.
Yeah.
But for changing from a climate like California to something like that would be very difficult.
Very difficult. I said dangerous.
Yeah,
Very difficult.
yeah, very
Dangerous too. Dangerous for the mental health because we're not
you
used
have
to it.
Kind of be
Can't mess around.
So Tyler has been up and about today. First day he left the house.
Good.
He actually got in the car. He's very weak.
Yeah.
And taking it slow. We started looking into just right off the bat before we like dig into what we think exactly he has or whatever. We both agree that he needs to go get like an IV infusion, some vitamin B, vitamin D,
Yes.
vitamin C, just like to replenish more electrolytes.
Yep.
Just to get like back to baseline.
Yeah.
So we were looking up some places there's a place I found it. It's Camden area. It's called the Cakery Infusions. And there's a gym attached to it or whatever. And you know who the owner is or part owner?
Who?
It's Marlon.
Oh, wow.
Remember Marlon?
Yeah. Yes.
We've been in Vegas
back in
with
the day,
his
yeah. I know.
girl, now wife, a few times.
Nice guy. Yeah.
Anyways, it's his, but I'm interested. I want Tyler to go check it out. It's expensive, but like a one-time infusion just to get back on track because I think it's like $300, but it's worth it. I think I'm going to help him.
Anytime
get that
to make your body bounce back and feel better.
Yeah.
It's always worth it. It's always worth the investment.
Yeah. So he's on the road to recovery. I was talking to him about this, but words can't even convey how horrible this was for him. And I don't think people can even comprehend it. So even like my family that knows about it I don't think you know how bad he really is. Like he is really
He's not pretending.
bad. And
bad.
like my dad, I finally showed him a picture, and this picture was taken after Tyler's already been getting better.
Yeah.
I showed him a picture. I'm like, just so you know what's actually going on, and he was shocked.
Dude, it's like this is worse than COVID for him.
Yeah.
The after effects of it. Crazy.
COVID has his and my number.
Both
for
you guys.
sure, because we really have a very intense
Bout
reaction to it.
You do.
So he's on the mend, though, which that makes me feel, I think that's probably why I feel better today, too.
That's true.
I have not, it's like I can't see past anything while he's sick like that.
Yeah.
It's hard, really hard.
Of course, a mother in you. That's your son. You don't like to see your son down like that.
No.
Makes you feel for it. You empathize.
I just feel bad. I just feel so horrible. I honestly wish I could take it. As bad as it is and as bad as it looks, I
That's
would,
a mom for you.
in a heartbeat, transfer the illness
So
into
he's
myself.
good and you're...
100%. Even if it was terminal, whatever. 100%, I would take it. I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I
like
had
my
that
mother.
power.
My mother would say something like that too.
I wish I had that power.
It's a
Anyways,
mom
I wanted to, on a lighter note, talk really quick. There's 2 points I want to touch upon. The final Vanderpump reunion was last night, and I know a bunch of people have watched it, especially our demographic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on 2 points from the reunion that I wanted to share with you, because I know you're not watching or into it. One of the big bombshell revelations that the mistress revealed was that
Do tell.
they did have sex in the home, in their home.
Uh-huh.
And even worse, they actually had sex when Ariana left to go to her grandmother's funeral. That's a new kind of low.
Don't tell me that. Let me ask you this. Don't tell me they even did scandalous and did it in the
I
same
don't
bed.
know. They didn't specify.
I'm glad that
Probably.
That's dirty.
They didn't specify that.
It's already bad enough you cheat on your mate and then a dude in the same bed or you're sleeping.
No, but to me, there's a new low when your significant other is at their like most vulnerable and just going through a death in that place that you're in when you lose something that you love is deep of a trench, a hole that you're in.
Yeah.
That anybody that even cared this much about you wouldn't do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, even like my neighbor would treat me better than that. So
why she went to her grandmother's funerals, they were having
they were just
affair.
Carrying on with their affair. And it basically, it started way long before and was more intense than they let on. But that one detail, and mind you, sandwich that in with the very first time they slept together was right when Ariana's dog died. So the 2 most like devastating events probably in her life to date, besides she lost her dad years ago, they managed to consummate their relationship twice while she was dealing with the hardest days of her life.
That were my sister, I'd assault that man. I'll say it here on record. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys listening. If that was my sister, some dude did that, treat her like that, kicked her that much down. Oh, yeah, he's going to have to see me. Big brother's coming out.
You know,
you
it's
gotta
like,
see
okay,
me.
you're having an affair, it's one thing, or you cheated on someone, but can you pick like the worst times that you can?
You have to get your rocks off, dude. You have to kick your lady while she's down like that, bro. Like her dog died. For any people who have animals or dog lovers, you know the pain of losing an animal.
Oh,
you've lost, lost.
It's heartbreaking.
Terrible. We lost 4 so far.
The anniversary of Karma's death is coming up, and I feel it like it's like my tears up every time I think about it. Yeah. It's just a new low for both of them. They knew that, and they regardless.
That's super low.
And then the other thing that I feel like this comment, like I feel like time stood still when he made this comment. Just to give you a little background on Ariana, has expressed over the years that she has body image issues. She has like insecurities about her body or whatever. And so that's just a little background, because during the reunion, Andy, which is the host, he asked Raquel he asked Tom, have you had sex with anybody else other than Raquel during this relationship with Raquel? And he said no.
Wait, during the relationship with Raquel?
Yeah, during the relationship, while he's having the mistress, was there anybody else?
Another affair, yeah.
And
don't.
Wait, so Andy says, was there anybody else? And then Tom says, no, there wasn't. But Ariana pipes in and said, yes, there was, me. Because Tom tried to say like they weren't having sex, which was a lie. So she piped in and said, actually, you're cheating on your mistress with me. And he said a comment that like everybody, their mouths just dropped. He said, yeah, while you wore your t-shirt so fucking hot. Like clowning her like that.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
This dude.
1 minute he's begging for forgiveness and calling himself a horrible person, but then in that second you realize that's who he really is. That's who he really is.
The truth comes out. You get someone angry, they can't help themselves.
Yeah.
That's when you see their ugly side.
Yeah, so I'm like, the mask fell off. The mask fell off. I'm like, oh, okay, so I get it. That one comment is all I ever need to see.
Yep.
That's who you are. Because you know she has body image issues. And so to say something like that on top of that, just to say that when you've been having an affair and then, yeah, with your T-shirt on, so hot, all sarcastic. To me, that was vile.
Man, it's sad for people. There's a lot of people. Women have a lot of body image issues. Yeah. I've encountered that. Woman won't want to take her bra off, or the lights have to be completely off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
and it's an internal thing.
Yes,
it's an internal thing. But you add insult to injury, and externally someone is making a comment about it. It's going to be 1,000 times worse. I don't know. Cool. I couldn't believe
this guy's too much.
I feel like that comment is probably still going to stick in her head and like resonate. I don't know. You guys comment. I want to know if that comment got you like it got me, because I literally gasped when he said that, because that's just a new kind of low. Are you okay?
I'm just I just want to put my arms on the table. Is that all right? I don't have armrests. It's a chair. So I'm just be comfortable.
Fiddle with everything all day.
Sorry.
Long. Oh, speaking of fiddling and fidgeting, when I was ordering my dad's...
don't make fun of my ADHD. My community come after you, okay? Hey, come after my wife. She's talking shit about us, y'all.
You can't even let me finish a thought. ADHD over here. Speaking of ADHD, I was ordering my dad's prescriptions, and there is and there was a warning at the top that just said there's a national shortage of Ritalin and
my nephew's on Ritalin.
Those types of medications. Fuck. There's a national shortage right now. Interesting. That must be in Adderall and those types of medications.
Sometimes you know what? This is just me, my conspiracy theorist mind. I feel like sometimes they do it on purpose, and then the price goes up because the demand is so high and the supply is low. I don't know.
The price, for sure. The prices always adjust if the demand is. But I just think that there's an influx in probably people getting the prescription.
Yes,
just the reason why semaglutide is on the shortage list, it's because people who take it for weight loss, it's a lot more volume of medication, and people are getting it left and right, man. They're just like jumping on that Ozempic bandwagon for sure.
I bet they are.
Moving on to a headline that I read that I just wanted to share that just broke my heart. It was a mom of twins. She just gave birth to twins. 9 days after their birth, they're still in the NICU. She unalived herself from postpartum depression.
That fast? Wait, how long did she have these babies?
9 days.
And she already unalived herself?
Yeah. They're 9 days old. Probably the stress. Can you imagine the stress of having preemies? Think about this. The hormonal changes and fluctuations of pregnancy are so intense.
Yes.
They are. And
bro, you're a mom. I don't know.
And
they
do take a steep dive right after birth, especially if you're not actively nursing. And maybe, who knows, with the NICU babies or whatever, if you're not actively nursing, it's even more of a steep dive. But the hormonal fluctuations and, it causes postpartum depression. And now, postpartum depression is actually different than the baby blues. It's more intense. Everybody goes through like the baby blues. But postpartum depression is more intense. And then beyond postpartum depression is postpartum psychosis, where those are the ones that they end up like committing violence on their child.
Yes.
And
I've recently read a few stories, horrific ones, where mothers, it's all bad. All bad.
And she was going through it and was trying to seek help and just didn't get the help she needed. 1 in 7 people develop postpartum depression. That's how common it is. 1 in 7. I have heard that if you ingest your placenta in some way, shape, or form, you can have it dehydrated, put into a shake or whatever. It greatly minimizes the occurrences of this happening. And if you think about it, what do animals do?
When cow mothers...
What do they do? Do you know?
Yes. As soon as they have it, they're eating them up. They're eating it up.
Their placenta.
Always.
They take it back in. They put it right back
they
in
have
their body.
Instinct. An animal has instinct to do that.
So there's got to be a reason for that. You have to think, why do their instincts tell them they have to eat it? There has to be a reason for that. And so there has been a lot of people that are doing that. It's expensive, though. Maybe it should be covered.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell
Why don't you guys create a machine there so every mother can experience it? You make it a delicious shake. Add a little bit to the bill, but don't make it super expensive. Come on,
guys.
A
company has to go and collect it, and then depending on what you decide to do, whether it's pills or whatever. But hey, if it can impact your mental health after, if I were to have another baby, I would do it.
You never did it with either of your child's.
I didn't have postpartum depression. I definitely had the blues.
Yeah.
I had the blues for a while, but I would not categorize. I would not want to insult the people that have actual postpartum depression and categorize what I went through as postpartum depression. But it needs to be 1 in 7. They need to be like arming these women and families before they leave the hospital with the tools that they need for their mental health, because 1 in 7 is very common.
Dude, that's high.
Crazy. So now this dad, they already have one other child. Now they just had twins.
Damn.
Is by himself with his 2 babies in the NICU. And this poor woman was in such despair. Was her only way out. 36 years old. Damn. And her husband is a police officer. They're in Massachusetts. Just heartbreaking, honestly. It just...
And we're limited as fathers. The babies need their mother. Breast milk, bonding time.
It's sad. That's just a horrific, sad thing. And that, honestly, it brings me right into the next topic. What I wanted to talk about is menopause.
Your favorite word. I'm joking.
Menopause.
I'm joking.
It's right up there.
We got menopause.
Yeah, you got menopause, so I don't want to hear
midlife crisis.
I don't want to hear it. It's right up there with the same types of things that women are experiencing after childbirth. Why? Because they have a major change in their hormones.
Yeah.
This is what also is happening to women who enter menopause. And I just don't think
Same thing you think? Like that bad?
To some degree. It's just because it's a change in hormones.
Right. And look at us. I think it's 77% of men commit suicide. It's high. We're way high.
But so with menopause, I think that it's important I've talked about this so many times, but you got to get in front of it, because when it rears its ugly head and you're in the thick of it, you're not thinking clearly enough to make rational decisions in the moment until the train has left the building and you're like pummeling down the mountain on the tracks, like runaway train.
Did you know it was coming on before it came on to you?
I paid attention to the fact that I wasn't having my period. Okay. So I was like, okay. And I would really pay attention. And during the beginning of perimenopause, I would have periods of the hot flashes and stuff during that time. But the reason I really wanted to talk about this today, because I want to make sure it is very clear that menopause in and of itself does not cause you to gain weight. You don't enter menopause and then magically your body decides to store body fat for a rainy day. That's not what happens. And if we understand that and accept that and not fight that, you're going to be able to get in front of the potential weight gain that does tend to happen. And I'll explain why it happens.
Do tell.
But stop fighting and saying that it just happens because of menopause, because that's not factual.
It's a false answer.
Yeah, I think it feels like that. It sure feels like that. If you don't know exactly what's happening and you get caught off guard and you're not living a healthy lifestyle, you don't pay attention to how much you eat.
Nope.
You don't pay attention to how many steps you're making. Those are the people that are the most at risk. The people that never had to worry about those things. Maybe they're naturally thin. Those people are going to be like, whoa, I was thin my whole life. Then I hit menopause because they never had to pay attention.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It's
right.
even worse for them. If you're already paying attention to those things because you gained weight during COVID or whatever, and then you enter menopause, you have a more clear picture of what's going on, and you can see it like, whoa, I'm in a calorie deficit and suddenly it's not working. Why is this? So some of the side effects, it's the side effects that caused you to not be able to lose weight or to gain weight. So the most important thing is to determine, what are your individual side effects? What are you feeling, and how is that impacting anything? Think about if you gain weight, and you know this because it's the same for men, same for women.
Yeah.
If you gain weight, it's because there becomes your inputs and outputs change. That's what I want to call it. Let's talk about inputs as the food you're consuming, the calories you're consuming, and outputs is the food that you're burning, the calories that you're burning.
Yes.
Okay. So input, calories in, output, calories out. When you gain or lose weight, it's because those outputs change.
Yes. Very true.
It's changing the outputs. So the net equation is a positive, meaning you're storing body fat, or if it's a negative, it means your body is using your own stored body fat. So if you gain weight, it means at some point, one or both, your input and your outputs have changed. Maybe your inputs have increased and your outputs have decreased. That's why menopause causes such it feels like rapid weight gain, is because the symptoms affect both.
Gotcha.
It affects your inputs going up and your outputs going down, which is a net high positive.
Net high.
If it was only one thing, maybe it wouldn't be as obvious or as rapid, but because it's affecting both. And let me explain why it's affecting both. Some of the most common symptoms, number one, and I feel like this is the one that impacts it the most, because this symptom impacts both your inputs and your outputs.
I can't even speak on this.
Poor sleep.
Yes, for both.
But for both, right?
Yes,
if you have poor sleep, how do you feel? And menopause, because of hot flashes and changes in your body temperature, women struggle with getting a good night's sleep. So you tell me, when you have a night of poor sleep, how do you feel the next day?
Crap. The energy. I can't get out of first gear.
Right.
Like today I hit second, third gear. Today I was clicking.
Explain. Does it change your inputs and outputs? Does it change how much you eat, and does it change how much you burn?
Yes. Because when you sleep poorly, you tend to crave bad things. And you're lazy. You don't want to cook. You don't want to make your food. So you tend to eat out more. I know. I'm guilty of it.
Right. So
guilty as charged.
One night of poor sleep will impact both your input and your output.
Yeah.
Which will result in a net positive. It's a fat storage day. You're storing fat that day.
Yep.
If you give in.
If you give in. You don't have to.
But it's hard.
It's hard.
It is hard.
I beast through some
Suddenly you want to go through the drive-through.
Yep.
Not only do you not feel like cooking, but you're craving bad food anyway, because when you have a night of poor sleep and you're running on low sleep, your cortisol levels rise, which makes you crave the sugary things.
And then the food demons are attacking your thoughts.
You're tired because you didn't sleep. You think you want to go work out. Okay, so then I've got someone saying, but I worked out anyways. I was tired and I worked out. Okay, that's 1 hour.
I've done that many times.
What about the rest of the day?
Yep.
Maybe you mustered out that workout, but now your 11 other waking hours. Did you park far away? Did you get a walk in? Did you get your steps in?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hustle and bustle? Did you dance in the kitchen?
Yeah.
No, because you're tired.
Yep.
So even if you still muster out that workout, you're still burning significantly less calories that day. So if you couple that with eating significantly more, that is what I mean by it's affecting both your inputs and your outputs. So a woman who's in menopause, one of the side effects you're experiencing is poor sleep, you need to get in front of that. I would tackle that one first.
Yeah.
Poor sleep, because it impacts many things.
Sleep's so important.
Even if you're not in menopause, if your sleep is poor and you're struggling with weight gain,
you need sleep.
I'm talking to you too. I'm talking to men too. You too. If you're struggling with sleep, one of the things that I struggled with early on when I started knowing I was in menopause was I did disrupt my sleep. So I noticed that I had to rotate my sleep aids because the sleep aids I was using before weren't as effective. So I had to rotate, I had to do something, but I got in front of, I'm like, I need to focus on my sleep because this is impacting other things.
Yeah.
So for me, what's working is magnesium L-threonate, L-theanine, and the apigenin. It's like a 3 different supplements. It comes in a 3-pack though. You can get it on Amazon. I actually saw, I don't know who it was. I think it was Dr. Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
Talk about it on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yes. I told you about it.
It's been very effective.
You are asleep by between 8:30 and 9. Sometimes early, you're out. Like,
I sleep so good on this current regimen. And here, look, this
and you're up
regimen
at 5 a.m.
may not work forever. As soon as it starts giving me choppy sleep again, then I'll rotate in maybe like a different magnesium, like L-glycinate or something else, maybe ashwagandha or something else. But for right now, it's working. And so that significantly helped.
Do you know what I wonder is like, why can't we be like dogs? I feel like dogs to just knock out and they're done. Look,
can we do a study on dogs?
They have, I don't think they have problems sleeping.
Why can they sleep all the time? Like Charles is right here next to me. I'm yapping away and he's asleep. Yeah. She knew we were doing the podcast. She's like, all right, it's time for me to take my nap.
Yep.
We need to do a study on dogs because obviously, look, they don't get postpartum because they eat their placentas. They sleep good.
I know.
Like they got it figured out.
A lot of it too, though, babe, is our minds, our mental health. A lot's thoughts.
That's why L-theanine helps. L-theanine helps control the thought. And so the combination of these 3 things, the apigenin, and the apigenin actually helps you I think, so that you don't have to urinate throughout the night.
That's me. That's what's messing me up, urinating throughout the night.
It's very helpful. Also, one of the reasons why poor sleep during menopause is a lot of times at night is when you get those hot flashes. So my doctor recommended Estroven, and I've been taking that. And I have not had a hot flash since he recommended it. I don't know if it's coincidence, but it's working for me. But some other things, you guys, put a fan in your room.
That was the best that we could have done.
Don't wear clothes to bed or wear something very light. Have like nice, cool sheets.
Yes.
Prepare yourself for hot flashes. Don't go to bed in hot pajamas because if you have a hot flash in the middle of the night, you're going to heat up like an inferno.
Yeah.
And you're going to wake up and your heart rate's going to go up and you're not going to be able to get back to sleep. That's very important. I've also heard that there's some creams that are natural, like a natural progesterone creams that help. I'm trying not to take a lot of things because I feel like I trust my body right now to go through it and regulate itself. So I don't want to introduce tons of things.
You don't want to do too much.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes doing too much is not good.
Because then you plug one hole and it creates another hole.
Yeah.
But I have heard, my hairdresser actually shared that with me, that there's a cream that she gets on Amazon. It's called the Now Cream. And she rubs it on and it helps with her hot flashes. This is not doctor's advice or whatever. Check with your doctor. Doctors need to help us women when we say that we have menopause symptoms. It pisses me off when they discount it. Oh, that's menopause. There's a whole movement right now because doctors discount women's like medical needs, like for menopause. They just put a stamp on it. Oh, that's menopause. Like,
so let's do something about this. I'm not going to just suffer.
Why should I have to suffer for the next 10 years while my body regulates?
At least for me, if I have the option for middle-aged men now is TRT. There's lots of clinics.
Yeah.
Because that's also dangerous for mental health. You don't want the testosterone super low. It'd be all bad for us.
And it's an option for women. The other thing is in terms of menopause symptoms, and it could also be due to lack of sleep, but it's also just comes along with the hormonal changes. I know men go through this too when your testosterone drops, right?
Yeah.
When women
testosterone drops, estrogen goes up.
When women are in menopause, our estrogen goes down, and low mood. So the reason why low mood impacts your weight is because you lose your motivation. You're like, I don't care. Why do I even care? I'll just get fat. You have that feeling. And so it's a battle. So the mood, to be honest, with me is the hardest because everything else I can control. I have some sort of control over. Okay, poor sleep. I'll work on my sleep, my energy, incontinence, which we'll get into that. But the low mood, I don't have much control over.
Damn.
And it does make me feel like it just basically you don't know why you care. Anyway, why do I even care? Why am I even bother tracking macros? Why am I You try to convince yourself that you just don't care because you're just not in a mood. Yeah. You have like low motivation.
Sounds like a lot of my married boys. I don't need to have a nice body. Care. I'm married. I don't care. That's their attitude.
But how do you resolve? So I've found myself really thinking like, okay, how do I resolve a low mood? How do you resolve it? So for me, we just talked about sunshine. Sunshine absolutely helps. What's hard adjustment is that I've never been a moody person. And if I'm in a good mood, if I wake up in a good mood, I'm in a good mood that day, usually.
Yeah.
What I've noticed in menopause is that my mood can switch.
Your what?
It doesn't last for the whole day.
Yeah.
So if I wake up in a good mood, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be in a good mood in an hour. It's not as like predictable.
Yeah.
The mood fluctuations are more intense. So that can be difficult because you wake up motivated, go to the gym, do your macros or whatever. But midday, you're like, why do I even care? I just want a crumble cookie. You know what I mean? So you lose motivation. Yes. And it has, even if I had a good night's sleep, and so I don't have the cravings because my energy's low or whatever, I'm literally just wanting to eat because I don't care.
Just because you don't care.
Because I don't care.
Yeah. I get like that too sometimes, once in a while. You know what? Why do I even care? But I know why I care. Because I know when I'm in good shape and my body fat's low, or I know I feel great.
Right.
It feels good.
But those are the conversations that you have to have with yourself. And maybe before menopause, I had that conversation with myself, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
During menopause, I have that conversation with myself every day. Damn. Every day. So that's tricky. So you have to, what are the tools? How do you get past that? I don't want to just complain to you guys. I literally think, what are the things that help me? Sunshine, so vitamin D, and supplementing with vitamin D as well, especially if you're not getting enough. Music.
Yes.
Good music.
Good music. Find your favorite. Find your old school music that you grew up with that you love. It'll put you in a certain mood. You're right. Remember we did that? We're playing old school songs from the 80s, 90s?
That whole day when they were driving home.
Yeah.
I love that. Music or cleaning and organizing. For me, stop decluttering, cleaning, organizing. Those are all things that help me. And for me lately, I don't know why, but nostalgia. Like things that remind me of happy times, because it brings me back to the feeling of the happy feelings, the memory of the happy feelings. So even if I'm not currently feeling happy, the memory of the happiness is enough to lift me up a little bit.
Like you tell me, you and your cousin will go back sometimes and talk about the old times.
We talk about all the time.
The
we
80s.
Talk about the 80s were the best days of our lives. Like the 80s were no problems.
No.
All I cared about was, did I have a new box of Crayola crayons, which I always did because my mom always would buy me a brand new box.
I remember
the
that.
64 crayons with the little
sharpener
so cool.
in
the back.
Oh my God, I felt cool having that too.
With a brand new coloring book. That was pure
innocent
and happy. And can we go to McDonald's, Mom?
And then you start developing boy crushes.
It's just so
girl
fun.
Crushes,
like the 80s
notes.
were the best, even before the boy crushes, honestly.
Notes.
Just like the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s movies.
Yeah.
The best. So nostalgia helps me a lot. So that's why I like to sometimes see those movies they're remaking now, like Top Gun. I loved watching the new Top Gun because it was like brought me back to the 80s.
Yeah. And you notice of our era, we were too young. We probably didn't pay attention, but older people go back and we have to figure out this mental health thing, because back in those days, there was hardly any. I'm sure people didn't talk about it as openly, but now I feel like we feel like everybody's is battling
it's
mental
because
health.
We're not meant to be stimulated
too much
all the time.
It's over.
We're in a constant state of stimulation. We live on cortisol. Listen, cortisol, it could be a good thing. It's good when you expose it under the right circumstances, when you're working out.
Yep. Hitting bags.
But we are not meant to be, the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, we are constantly on our devices, on iPads, on phones. We used to remember when you leave the house and...
Dude, yes.
You didn't have a phone. You didn't make a phone call 24 fucking 7.
You got to understand something. Me growing up in San Francisco, I would walk to my friends' houses. Some of them lived a few miles away.
With no phone.
Nope. And I put my Walkman, listen to music, and walk to their...
Yeah.
That was the cool thing to do. That was entertainment.
That's why I think that mental health is on the rise. I just think it's the
It's not on the rise. It's super...
Stimulation. Constant stimulation. That's why people sleep poorly. And constant, like, you're seeing other people's lives and comparison.
That's the worst. You can't do that. That'll mess you up.
Just like all of that. Like,
yes.
I'm so glad I grew up in a time where you passed notes and you didn't have cell phones and all of that. I'm glad. So that doesn't help. It sure as hell doesn't help. But all right. So my last thing that I've been experiencing with the menopause is the incontinence. It's terrible. Do you know what incontinence means? No? It means that you, like, urinary leakage, leaking. So you can't pee. You can pee. You can't
accidentally.
hold it.
It just go,
So you can't hold it as well, or you leak. So it's not even like I'm peeing, like I need to pee. It's just that whatever's in my bladder leaks a little bit. So I literally have to wear, even though I'm in menopause, I have to wear a liner. So that if I feel myself start to leak, I know, okay, I have to go and try to empty my bladder.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show through. The other day, I was at Orange Theory, and I literally didn't even really feel it. And I was on the treadmill, and then, like, I looked down, and I could see that I had leaked. You know how horrible that is?
Yeah.
I had a sweatshirt, thank God. I tied it around my waist, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I left before the final minute. Alyssa's like, where did you go? I was like, oh, you don't want to know. I peed my fucking pants at the Orange Theory.
Damn, that's funny. You can laugh at it. It happens. Men too.
No, your issue is opposite. Men have the opposite issue. Their prostates enlarge and then they can't pee.
And then you stare at me waiting for the bathroom. Babe, stop staring at me. You're just pissing me off because I can't make it go faster. Okay? I'm sorry. You go, shh. Me and I'm just waiting. Come on, bro. Let's go, homie. Wife's waiting over here.
I absolutely hate it when you cut me off to go to the bathroom.
I beat you there.
And then you take forever. Like, I could be gone and done, but while you're sitting there taking, like, your sweet fucking time.
No, I'm not taking my sweet time. What did you just say? See, there you go, talking out the side of your ass. What did you just say? Prostate. We have enlarged prostates. You think I want to stand there? You think I want to stand there waiting for I want to go bathroom and be on my way.
I can hear you sometimes in the middle of the night. It goes, and then it stops, and then it goes.
Yes,
and I'm like,
fucking annoying.
My God, I'm going to kill him if he doesn't finish. You're still going. Austin Powers, it goes, and then it stops.
Talking shit. I'm going to talk shit about your problems, too, then. I can't. What do you want me to fucking do?
I didn't pee my pants.
I didn't ask for an enlarged prostate. I fucking tell guy, hey, man, put this on me and the fuck out of here with that shit.
You can get, like, Flomax or something. My dad takes medication for that. Flomax.
Does that mean I have to take it for life? That's what I'm afraid of.
I don't
want to mess with some bladder medication. Then again, I'm a slave to the medical.
But there's going to be a time where you're going to have to take it, probably.
Yeah. Sucks.
Because it impacts you.
I know. It does.
You know what? I could, to your defense, a lot of times I'll complain because you take forever to pee because I have a weird thing about where I go to the bathroom. We have another bathroom in the house.
And that's what sometimes gets under my skin. Dude, stop being a fucking diva and go to use the other bathroom. We live here. Weird. It's our house.
If you guys have ever watched American Pie, their character on American Pie, Shipbreak, he would literally walk home to go to the bathroom because he could only go at his bathroom. Definitely.
I go everywhere. Don't
100%.
Matter to me. Public, if I have to go, I go.
Number 2, I have to go in my bathroom. And this is why when I go on vacation, I end up constipating myself. It's a mental block because I cannot go to number 2 anywhere else. But peeing, I can obviously go other places, but I prefer not to. It feels like I'm in a foreign land when I'm in another bathroom going to pee, especially like I've had to get over that. But at this point, Orange Theory feels like home away from home because I sometimes have to pee 3 or 4 times to get through my class without leaking. Because as soon as I think I might leak, I go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And look, the one time I didn't because it was like a long block and it was like a running thing.
Yeah.
And I looked down and I'm like, oh my God. I'll put the video up because I took a video because I was going to
At least we can laugh about it, man. Like it sucks. Trust me. I hate having to get up in the middle of the night and peeing. It fucking boils I want to sleep. I'm sleeping so good and this goddamn bladder wakes me up. Like,
I know.
You fucking asshole. Excuse my French, you guys. I'm just talking shit about myself.
Anyways, so just Those are a lot of the symptoms, and there are more. But none of those things, if they are happening to you, directly just mean that you're going to start gaining weight. What's happening with the weight gain, obviously, it's the side effects are leading to you changing your inputs and outputs. Unfortunately, sometimes both. It's leading you to eat more and move less.
Yes.
And the net effect is causing the weight gain. And then make matters worse, because why not? Let's just layer in one more thing. When you're in menopause and you gain weight, because your progesterone is low, the weight gain is concentrated to your abdomen. So even if you gain a little amount of weight, it's not distributed throughout your whole body. It's concentrated.
Right to the gut.
So if it's concentrated, it's going to seem like it's significantly more weight than it is. So 5 pounds will feel like 15 pounds because it's all in your stomach.
That's crazy. It doesn't distribute. That's bad. That sucks.
So you really got to get in front of it, you guys. That's what my thing to you is. I can guarantee you. So if you're out there and you hit menopause and you gained a bunch of weight, I absolutely understand why.
Yes.
I see how it happens, and I see how it can just hit you on the back of the head and you're like, how did I get here? I guarantee you, if I already was not very aware of my body, working out, tracking macros, all of these things that I have been experiencing would have led to at least 10 to 20 pound weight gain.
Yeah.
And it would have come like that. The low mood, the poor sleep, the hot flashes, the cravings, eating more and moving less.
Remember a certain individual, I won't say who, won't put her on blast. Wait till you hit menopause. Here you are. What's up now? Wait till you're 50. Okay.
Yeah, but you can do something about it. That's why I come on here to tell you, it's not that it's easy, because it's not easy.
Nothing's easy in life.
It's challenging. It suddenly makes what used to be easier for me more challenging, and I already am living the lifestyle. So I can understand how it feels like a huge mountain if someone is suddenly encountering this and wasn't armed and prepared.
Yeah.
But it's still not too late.
Nope.
Just because you're in menopause, you can still adjust those inputs and outputs and create a deficit that will lead to fat loss. Even if that concentrated fat that you got in your stomach, you can still lose it. But you have to start dealing with the symptoms. What I recommend, write down your symptoms and look at them and think which one is more greatly impacting my inputs and outputs than the other, because that's the one I want to focus on first.
Yeah. Smart.
For me, sleep was my number one priority, and now that's gone. It's managing the mood, looking for ways to pull myself out of it. And I will let you guys know.
And you have a sick elderly dad who's on his deathbed, so you have another thing to deal with on top of all this.
Well, usually, though, I was always someone that even through all the hard things in life, I could still find a good mood.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest change for me is some days I can't find the good mood. It's like it's lost. I can't find it. And I just want to just go to bed that day and wake up, and hopefully the next day it'll be there. It's a terrible feeling, especially if you're not used to it. Yeah. But yeah, I'll continue to share my experience with you guys and let you guys know what works for me and how new symptoms, new suggestions. But please, if you get anything out of this episode, know that menopause in and of itself does not magically cause weight gain.
Nope.
If you did enter menopause and gained weight because of a lot of the things that I talked about today, it can still be lost.
Yes, it can.
And you can stop the train, the runaway train, and turn it back and lose the weight and get control of things. I also have heard that your body does balance out eventually, and these things will subside.
Yeah.
But if they don't, seek help. In addition to things that you can do, there's hormone replacement therapy. There's things we need to demand more from our doctors because they need to take it serious. It's a serious
they do.
thing. Just I think about men. Men go through menopause, and I feel like it's a serious thing that needs to be addressed. And I think that because people don't think of it as a condition that's serious, it gets, men, midlife crisis. Women, menopause.
That's what happens with us men in midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Just saying. It's the truth.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you guys again on Monday.
Thank you, guys.